Are you ready to break barriers with Barry Dynamic? Well, get ready because Barry Dynamic is coming to a TV near you, featuring dynamic conversations and a dynamic live audience. You don't want to miss this life-changing experience. So hold on to your seats and get ready to break barriers with Barry Dynamic.
Wow. Breaking barriers with Barry. Y'all can't believe I'm doing this. Like, did I see myself having a talk show? No way. But I'm glad that I do because it's time for me to share my story. Not only just my story, but just stories that have encountered along the way. Like, I've met so many incredible people, like, that I would have never thought that I would have met. And to hear people's stories, like, it's so inspiring. You know, the first thing that I do when I meet a new client, I ask them, what's your story? And you will be surprised by what these people have to say. And it's inspiring because it always ends with the underdog on top. Like, that's what breaking barriers is. Like, doing what others can't do or doing what you thought couldn't be done. And I look at myself every day and I see myself pushing through. Just when I think that I'm done, something else comes across my table and I'm pushing through. So breaking barriers is for every survivor, for every overcomer, for every victorious person out there that's winning. So, welcome to my world. Welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight. Welcome to Breaking Barriers with Barry. Guys, it has been a journey. You know, you are not only looking at the CEO of Planet McNair, you're not only looking at a publicist, you know, you are looking at a survivor. I'm the epitome of breaking all barriers. You know, as a woman in the industry, it's hard. It's hard climbing to the top and doing it the right way and not sacrificing who you are, your morality, your ethics. And so tonight, I just really want to vibe with y'all. I want to share my story with y'all. You know, I was recently just on this spiritual journey of just healing. And during this pandemic, I took a moment to just really self-reflect and ask God, what is it that you have for me next? And asking God to just use me as a vessel. You know, as a publicist, I work with so many clients that are always looking to just build their business and just look for branding expertise. But as a CEO and as a boss, personal things get in the way. And it has an effect on how successful our business can be. And that's what breaking barriers is all about. To allow these bosses to get real personal about their journey to success. So I'm so excited. You guys, we got an amazing show for you tonight. And I can't wait for you guys to break barriers with me tonight. Baby, did y'all see that intro? Ooh, baby, shout out to Asha Beauty. Like, that makeup is on fleek. Yes, with the indigenous makeup beauty products. Damn, that was good. Yeah, InStyle got me right too. Man, sometimes I just be looking at myself like, damn, that's me. Like, do y'all ever do that? Just be like, damn. Like what Cardi said, walking past the mirror, now I'm fine, yes. Now, sometimes you gotta be your biggest hype person. Now, that was dope. Okay, cool. So yeah, this episode, what inspired me for the first episode was having the courage to heal. As you know, the pandemic, I don't know about y'all, but the pandemic was wild. But it just really showed that you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And
while I was sitting back, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like I was already ready a whole month before, just not even realizing that this was gonna take place. But I was grateful because spiritually, I was getting my mind right. I was fasting. I was, eating raw foods and having a more alkaline diet. I was praying. I was detoxing the people in my life, not even realizing what was about to go down. So when the pandemic happened, it was real, and it taught me how to get more in tune with myself. And when I was able to be more in tune with myself, my discernment was to the roof. And I learned during this pandemic that it wasn't about the crisis. It wasn't about the sickness and the illness that was going on. Although there was so much mourning and sorrow going on, in which my heart goes out to every person that's been just negatively impacted by this traumatic experience. Like, this has been something that has affected the whole world. And I just remember talking to my mentor, Clarence KD, and we talked about suicide rates being to the roof and how mental health was so important because people was really out here losing their mind. And having the courage to heal was really what kept speaking to me. I went through an experience and had to, uproot my environment, and ended up just going on a 2-month road trip. And from there, I was spending time in nature. I was in the water. I had just rescued a puppy that I didn't think I was going to have a whole nother pet. And I was learning about myself. I was forgiving people that had did me wrong. I was understanding why people were making the decisions that I didn't know why they were making those decisions. I was also getting business deals. I was getting new opportunities, and like, God was really blessing my life. And the only thing that kept coming to my mind was healing. When you heal yourself, you are centered. You are one with yourself. And when you're whole, that's when you're able to attract more wholesomeness. And yeah, having the courage to heal, that's the only thing that just came to mind. So in this first episode, I just really wanted to express my journey and hopefully inspire someone else along their journey to, maybe look at themselves and reevaluate how they go about their life, or implement some of the things and techniques that I utilize to make myself, more mentally and emotionally stable, so that I can operate from a professional standpoint and, just be successful in helping my clients thrive their endeavors. So I had the lovely celebrity psychologist, Dr. Diamond White, to come and bless our stage, because she is a woman who believes in hustling with your legs closed and carrying your morals wherever you go. And she gave some really great gems on showing that it's okay to be spiritually grounded and in the world at the same time, and to not allow the trauma of this world to distract you from your mission and your purpose here in life. And that's what this pandemic was all about. Not allowing the traumas of this world to distract you and discourage you, but more so motivate you and inspire you to dig deeper within. And so she gives some really great tools on how we prevail through that and identify the problem within, so that we can create a solution to thrive together.
Awesome. Welcome back. So what I want to talk about today is healing. One thing I learned during this pandemic, that sometimes things can happen to really sit us still. We might not like what's going on and why it's taking place, and the fact that it's impacting so many lives is very just detrimental to this community. But it's also a learning lesson for what God is trying to tell us. And so actually, when the pandemic happened, from May up until August, I went on this journey. I actually traveled for 2 months on the road. I literally packed up my dogs, hit the road, and I drove from Dallas to Austin. Then I went to a little bit further to Las Vegas, and then I went further. I went to San Francisco, and then I kept going to Oregon. I kept going to Washington, and every time I stopped, I went into nature. I sat in the water. I sat in the woods, and I just meditated, and I released, because as business owners, it's important. It's important to release that, because it's going to affect how you interact with your clients. And so here to help me just talk about why is it so important to just heal, it's a very great friend of mine. She's a community leader. She's an activist. She's a celebrity psychologist. You guys, please give it up for Dr. Diamond White.
Born to win, young and reckless. I live life in a fast lane. I like big investments. Line me up with the legends. Can't nobody.
Welcome. Come a little closer to me. Don't be so far. Come on, I don't bite. Welcome to Breaking Barriers.
Thank you for having me. I feel great. I feel blessed to be here. This is amazing.
Yes, all the vibes. You know, the reason why I wanted you to come on today is because it's so important for us to see doctors, psychologists that look like, you know, us.
Absolutely.
You know, because you can relate to us. You know how to just really speak and give us the best advice because you have experienced similar, you know, backgrounds. And so just tell me, why celebrity psychologist? Like, what made you go into this industry as a doctor?
What made me go into, I became a doctor because I was told that I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And so when my teacher told me, because I'm also an artist, so when I had to write a paper, she told me, you have to pick a career. I said, well, I'm going to be in the entertainment industry. I'm going to be a rapper. She told me, no, you got to pick a real career. So I said, I'm going to be a rapper and a doctor. And she ended up giving me a B on my paper and said that I wrote the best paper in her class. She gave me a B because my goal wasn't realistic.
Wow.
And so then when I saw how being in the entertainment industry was for females, and it was, the blueprint for me was either be a stripper or, you know, date somebody that has a lot of money. I said, oh no, we got to change that. We got to change that.
And I'm not going to lie, like, it's hard, especially when you see these women like winning in that way, you know, with their bodies and not their mind. And, you know, I've even came to the crossroad before, you know, Barry Dynamic Agency. I was like, well, Lord, come on now. What can we do about this?
Absolutely. It's frustrating to see, especially when you're working so hard and then you see people progress in front of you because they're willing to do things that you're not willing to do, which is compromise your morals and your integrity. But I would like to tell all women that it may take you a little longer when you're dragging the morals behind you, but you will get there. Don't compromise.
Yes.
This is living proof. Look at this. This is amazing.
Wow. And, you know, since the pandemic, the suicide rates have skyrocketed. You know, it's different when you have to be in a room by yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you're trapped by yourself, especially when you're so accustomed to always being out in the public. And so I definitely want you to just tell us, like, what is a barrier that you personally had to break?
Oh my goodness. Doing a lot of recording and maintaining my business and my nonprofit organization that I was just really doing a lot because I had so much time, and burying my father and having to still comfort other people when I was broken, when I was going through something that, I mean, I would literally be counseling people and I just want to just die. Like, that was just probably the hardest emotional thing that I had just been through in a very long time. And so it was like 2020 was a very, very crazy, rough year for me. I'm going to say the last 2 years have been really crazy for me, that I literally had to counsel myself. That's how important mental health really, really is. Like, I literally had to counsel myself.
Can you tell us, like, what are some of those affirmations that you would tell yourself?
I would literally get in the mirror and I would say, Diamond, no crying today. Like, you literally cannot cry today, because I had went through a period where I cried every single day. And I had to get myself together and say, no crying today. Like, when sometimes you're too weak to pray for yourself, I had to make myself, like, go pray, go get in a corner, go talk to God, and get your mental together. Because if you lose your mental, you lose everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, I just want to say that healers need healing too.
Absolutely.
And it's just so important, as every last one of you guys in this room, that we be a tribe for one another. And that
Right.
you take time to not only take care of yourself, but to always be aware of the impact that you have to other people. Just real quick, it was so interesting because a young lady had opened up to me, and she was also dealing with family issues and was recently, sexually assaulted by someone that was working with her. And when she came and confided in me, I encouraged her. I said, hey, push through. Like, let's go public with your story. Like, there's so many women, as myself,
Right.
that had experienced such just trauma.
Right.
And I encouraged her to get out there and tell her story. And when she went public with her story, a lot of things happened in my life, and I couldn't be there for her. And I remember her telling me, when I needed you on the front line, you wasn't there. And it was to that moment that I realized that sometimes you don't realize the impact that you have in people's life.
Absolutely.
And it's just so important to just keep that in mind. Like, be careful with your words, be careful with your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Because you just never know who you are influencing and changing. And so, her and I, we had a heart to heart, and she was like, I'm glad that you're doing this. People need this platform, and I just want to tell you thank you so much for pushing through the
Thank you.
courage, because people told you that you couldn't do what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And that's the message. Oftentimes people don't have the capacity to fulfill the mission that God is giving you. People don't have the capacity to even think and see bigger outside of their own element. So
Absolutely.
definitely round of applause to you. I appreciate
Thank you.
just what you're doing in the community.
you. Thank
And just
you.
keep up the great work.
I appreciate you. I'm glad to be here. This is inspiring to me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of stuff when it comes to women, I'm so powered. Like, I want women to be, I love supporting our black women, but it's hard for me because I don't see a lot of black women doing things that I can support. And so when you came to me with this, I was like, I was quick. I didn't even check my schedule. I have a meeting.
And she's always busy, y'all.
You know what I
like,
mean?
Seriously, she travels
I had
to
fly back in here.
countries.
I was like, I'm there. Like, I was so happy to be here because I'm so proud of you. I
Thank
really
you.
am. You're inspiring me and a lot of other
Yes.
people, and I'm very proud of you.
Queen support queen.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
We'll be back right after these messages.
And y'all just be having no idea. Like, y'all have no idea what people are going through. And the real question is, who heals the healer? Like, this just shows that y'all gotta check on y'all friends. Like, for real. After this episode, I had so many people coming up to me and saying, like, thank you, Barry, for doing this. I had no idea that I was eating bad throughout the pandemic because I was stressed. So I had no idea that I've been depressed this whole time because I was hiding behind my work. Or I had no idea that I was just drinking my life away because I was just trying to get through the pandemic and just get to the other side, waiting for this to all be over. And people didn't realize that they were poisoning themselves or burying their trauma. Like, it's okay to say that you're not okay. And I had to realize I was once at the crossroad as well, too. Sometimes we get caught up in social media and wanting to look perfect and just show all the great things that are going on in your life that we don't want to show when things get ugly. We don't want to show when you in the trenches, deep in the trenches too, But that's what makes it beautiful. And I was so grateful to have her to come on that story just because you can hear the pain through her voice as she's talking, because she done heard some shit. That she didn't listen to cries for help. And who heals the healer? When you have to be selfless and put your feelings to the side just to be there for others who need you more than you need yourself, And wow, I was just so glad that she came on and talked about just mental health. And, she got two doctor's degrees. Like, baby, maybe what am I doing with my one bachelor's? But hey, I love seeing my queens win. I love seeing powerful people share the stage together. And like I say, Boss is getting real personal about their journey to success. That woman lost her dad during the pandemic. And I just remember her telling me backstage, like, you doing this, Barry. And like, I hadn't seen my dad in like almost 5 years. My dad has never seen me in my adult life in action in my career. And I had him there on a stage with me, him and his wife, my stepmom, who I love and adore. And it just really made me appreciate all those cherishable moments that we sometimes take for granted. And I love the strength that she demonstrated on that stage, because you gotta keep going, y'all. Like, for real. I be having to tell myself that I gotta keep going. Like, man, forget all these distractions and everything else that's trying to hold me back. You gotta tell yourself that too. And forget all of that. That stuff's a distraction. It's not real. And once you realize those distractions are not real and that they're put in your vicinity to take you off course, then that's when you're able to identify, oh, it's part of the journey, it's part of the cycle. Let me regroup, stay focused, not let me take that off track. So that's a powerful woman right there. Y'all be on the lookout for Diamond White. Like, she is taking over the city. She is doing some amazing things in the industry, and she breaking barriers. You know, breaking barriers is about being the force that stimulates change, and that's all you're going to see on this show, okay? So y'all stay tuned.